Have you ever wondered why so many people search for their soulmate and end up lost in relationships that don't fulfill their soul? According to the spiritual revelations of Edgar Cayce, the great seer of the 20th century, a true soulmate isn't just a romantic encounter, but a transformative experience capable of aligning body, mind, and spirit. Today, we'll reveal the deepest secret to finding your true soulmate based on spiritual teachings that can forever change the way you view love. Prepare to discover truths about spiritual connections that go beyond what you imagine. Forget everything you've learned about soulmates from movies and conventional romance novels. A true soulmate transcends any superficial romantic concepts our society has taught us. They represent much more than an ordinary romantic partner. They are literally the reflection of our purest and highest essence. They're not that famous other half we hear so much about, but a unique vibrational frequency that resonates perfectly with your own spiritual energy. It's as if two perfect musical notes created a divine harmony when played together. To truly understand the concept of a soulmate, we need to understand that there is a fundamental difference between physical attraction and spiritual connection. Physical attraction is temporary, based on hormones and impulses that fade over time. The connection with a soulmate, on the other hand, is eternal, based on the mutual recognition of essences that have known each other for much longer than this present life. It is an ancestral memory that awakens at the precise moment of encounter. When two soulmates meet, there is an instant recognition that cannot be explained by logic. Finding your soulmate requires deep self-knowledge, as there is an immutable spiritual law. We only recognize externally what we have already awakened within ourselves. If you haven't yet developed certain spiritual qualities within yourself, it will be impossible to recognize them in someone else. It's like trying to tune into a radio station without the right receiver. A soulmate doesn't appear to people who aren't vibrating at the same spiritual frequency. Therefore, the external search must always begin with an internal journey of growth and elevation. Many people confuse a soulmate with someone who will fulfill all their earthly and carnal desires. This is a dangerous misconception that further distances a true encounter. A soulmate comes to expand your consciousness, challenge your spiritual limits, and boost your evolution. They're not here to be your emotional crutch or fill your existential voids. On the contrary, they appear when you're already complete within yourself and ready to share that completeness with someone equally spiritually evolved. A soulmate connection is recognized by the feeling of deep peace it brings, not the emotional storm that many dramatic relationships provoke. When you find your true soulmate, there's a sense of coming home that can't be faked or forced. It's as if the entire universe breathes a sigh of relief, knowing that two important parts of the divine plan have finally reunited. This union is not only beneficial for the couple, but for all of humanity, as two soulmates together exponentially multiply their capacity to serve and elevate the world. Soulmate recognition occurs on levels far beyond the conscious mind. Your physical body, your emotions, your intuition, and your soul simultaneously recognize the presence of this special person. It's a complete phenomenon that involves every aspect of your being, creating an unshakable certainty that doesn't depend on any external confirmation. When this happens, you simply know, with every fiber of your being, that you've found the one you were destined to meet on this earthly journey. The biggest saboteur in the search for a soulmate is the limiting belief that they will be a perfect person who will fill all the voids in your existence. This seemingly harmless thought is actually the biggest obstacle between you and your true love. When you seek someone to complete your gaps, you are sending the universe a clear message of incompleteness and neediness. The law of attraction responds precisely to this frequency, bringing together people who are equally needy and incomplete. It's a vicious cycle that keeps both trapped in codependent and destructive relationships. The desperate search for love generates an energy of need that repels the very thing you desire most. It's like chasing a butterfly. The more you chase it, the further it flies away. A soulmate isn't attracted by desperation, neediness, or emotional need. They're magnetized by completeness, spiritual self-sufficiency, and genuine self-love. When you stop seeking outside what can only be found within, you create the energetic space necessary for true love to naturally emerge in your life. Another devastating mistake is trying to mold ordinary relationships into a soulmate connection. This happens when you force compatibility where it doesn't naturally exist. trying to convince yourself you've found the one. You ignore obvious signs of incompatibility, excuse toxic behavior, and sacrifice yourself in an attempt to make it work. This energetic forcing not only blocks the arrival of a true soulmate, but also causes unnecessary suffering for all parties involved. Haste is another deadly poison in the spiritual search for true love. We live in a society that wants everything yesterday, and this has even contaminated our approach to sacred relationships. You set deadlines for love to appear, get anxious when you're single in your 30s or 40s, and start accepting anyone who shows interest just to avoid being alone. This artificial urgency interferes with divine perfect timing and can cause you to lose your soulmate by being too busy with the wrong relationships. Many people also make the mistake of seeking a soulmate as an escape from their personal problems and unresolved traumas. They believe that true love will be the magical cure for all their emotional wounds and existential difficulties. This unrealistic expectation not only burdens the relationship before it even begins, but also demonstrates that you haven't yet done the necessary inner work. A soulmate doesn't come as a therapist or savior. They come as a spiritual partner for two already whole people to journey together. The final and most subtle deception is looking for a soulmate in the wrong places with the wrong intentions. When you frequent superficial environments, focusing only on physical appearance or social status, you're tuning into a completely opposite frequency of true spiritual connection. A soulmate is rarely found in clubs, superficial dating apps, or situations where the focus is on having rather than being. They appear when you are aligned with your higher purpose, serving the world, and living authentically and spiritually. Every thought that crosses your mind, every emotion that passes through your heart, and every choice you make daily generates a specific vibration in the universal energy field. This personal frequency functions like a cosmic radio station, constantly broadcasting signals about who you are and what you are ready to receive in your life. Your soulmate operates on the same vibrational law. They can only tune into your frequency when you are broadcasting on the right station. Therefore, raising your personal vibration is not only recommended, it is absolutely essential for the sacred encounter to occur. Gratitude is the first and most powerful vibrational lift you can activate immediately. When you genuinely appreciate everything you already have in your life, from the air you breathe to the lessons you've learned from past relationships, your energy instantly shifts. Gratitude turns you into a receiving antenna for more good things, including the love you so desire. Practice giving thanks every day, especially for the relationships that didn't work out, as they were instrumental in preparing you for your soulmate. Genuine self-love is the second fundamental pillar for raising your vibrational frequency. This goes far beyond superficial self-esteem or confidence based on external achievements. True self-love is the complete acceptance of who you are, including your imperfections, limitations, and areas of growth. When you love yourself unconditionally, you radiate a magnetic energy that naturally attracts people who also love themselves. It's impossible to give or receive true love unless you yourself are an inexhaustible source of it. Unwavering faith in the perfect divine plan is the third element that exponentially raises your love vibration. This means completely trusting that the universe knows exactly when and how your soulmate is meant to appear, even when human plans seem to be falling apart. True faith frees you from anxiety, rushing, and trying to control the process. When you truly trust in divine timing, you relax and allow love to flow naturally into your life. Vibrational attunement occurs when you consistently maintain these three pillars: gratitude, self-love, and faith, as the foundation of your daily existence. In this elevated state, you become a natural magnet for experiences and people who vibrate at the same frequency. It's not magic, it's spiritual physics. You attract what you are, not what you desire. Therefore, if you want to attract a loving, patient, and spiritual soulmate, you must first cultivate these qualities within yourself authentically and consistently. Remember that raising your vibration isn't a one-time event, but an ongoing process of conscious choices. Each time you choose forgiveness over resentment, compassion over judgment, and love over fear, you're tuning into a higher frequency. This daily practice of vibrational raising not only accelerates your encounter with your soulmate, but also ensures you'll be prepared to recognize and nurture this sacred connection when they finally appear in your life. The universe operates according to precise spiritual laws, And one of the most important is the law of the mirror. You always attract people who accurately reflect what exists within you in the present moment. This means that every relationship in your life is a perfect reflection of your inner state, whether conscious or unconscious. If you still carry deep emotional wounds, unresolved traumas, or self-destructive patterns, you will inevitably attract people who will bring these shadows to the surface. This is no coincidence. It is universal intelligence working to accelerate your healing and spiritual evolution. When you truly understand this law, every problematic relationship becomes a golden opportunity for deep self-knowledge. That person who irritates you, arouses your jealousy, or abandons you is simply reflecting aspects of yourself that need healing. The anger you feel is actually anger at parts of yourself you haven't yet accepted or integrated. The abandonment you fear reflects the abandonment you commit to yourself. It's a perfect spiritual feedback loop that operates 24/7. A soulmate can only appear in your life when you've achieved a sufficient level of inner healing and self-acceptance. They emerge when you're ready to see your best self reflected, not your flaws. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It means you have to be at peace with your imperfections and committed to your continued growth. When you look into the spiritual mirror and see love, compassion, and wisdom staring back, that's the frequency you'll radiate to attract your soulmate. Clearing your inner shadows is the most important work you can do in preparing for true love. This includes genuinely forgiving everyone who has hurt you, not because they deserve it, but because carrying resentment keeps you vibrating at the frequency of hurt. It also includes accepting and integrating the parts of yourself you consider unacceptable: your anger, your fear, your vulnerability. When you stop rejecting aspects of yourself, you stop attracting people who will express them destructively. Many people resist this law because they prefer to blame others for their failed relationships. It's easier to say, "There are no good people in the world," than to take responsibility for the energetic quality you're emanating. But this resistance only prolongs suffering and delays the encounter with your soulmate. When you fully accept responsibility for the relational patterns in your life, you also gain the power to change them permanently. The beauty of this spiritual law is that it ensures that when your soulmate appears, you will be perfectly aligned at the core level. There will be no psychological games, manipulation, or toxicity, because neither of you carries these frequencies anymore. The relationship will be a constant mirror of love, growth, and mutual support. You will face every challenge that arises as spiritual partners, using them as opportunities to evolve further together. This is how love between true soulmates works. There's a very common misconception that prevents millions of people from recognizing their true soulmate, confusing intense karmic relationships with soulmate connections. Karmic relationships are those that arrive with an overwhelming emotional burden, unbridled passion, and a feeling of, "I can't live without this person." They are intense, dramatic, and often destructive, creating emotional roller coasters that leave you exhausted. These relationships came to teach specific lessons, heal old wounds, and settle energetic debts from past lives, but they are not your soulmate. Answer me honestly. Have you ever been in a relationship so intense it felt like an obsession, where the passion was so strong that you lost yourself completely? This is the typical pattern of karmic love. These relationships require deep healing, enormous patience, and most often end in a painful but necessary release. They are teachers disguised as lovers, coming to break old patterns and force you to grow spiritually. Once the lesson is learned and the karma is resolved, these people naturally leave your life fulfilling their divine purpose. A soulmate operates on a completely different frequency than karmic love. While a karmic relationship binds, suffocates, and creates emotional dependence, the connection with a soulmate liberates and propels your evolution in a natural and harmonious way. With your soulmate, you feel more yourself than ever before. There's no need to pretend to be someone you're not or to mold yourself to be accepted. The energy is one of expansion, not contraction. It's one of freedom, not emotional imprisonment. Recognizing this difference is essential because many people remain trapped for years in toxic karmic relationships, thinking they've found their soulmate. They tolerate abuse, betrayal, and manipulation because they confuse emotional intensity with true love. A soulmate will never want to control you, diminish you, or make you suffer. They arrive to add to, multiply, and celebrate who you are. The relationship flows naturally, even when you face challenges together. Another important indicator is that karmic relationships often have expiration dates. They fulfill their teaching purpose and naturally dissolve. The connection with a soulmate, on the other hand, has an eternal quality that transcends even physical death. Even when there are periods of separation or challenges, there is an inner certainty that you belong together in a way that goes beyond this earthly existence. It is a union that the universe blesses and supports. Karmic relationships are necessary and sacred in their own way, as they prepare you to welcome and recognize your soulmate when they appear. Each karmic relationship you resolve with love and forgiveness raises your vibrational frequency and removes obstacles to true love. Don't regret the difficult relationships of the past. They were essential steps on the spiritual ladder that is leading you to your soulmate. Be grateful for each lesson learned and move forward with an open heart to the love you truly deserve. One of the greatest illusions our materialistic society has created is the idea that intense physical attraction is the primary indicator of a successful relationship. When it comes to a true soulmate, the connection goes infinitely beyond the beauty standards set by the media or superficial expectations. A soulmate can come in any physical package and often doesn't match the body type you've always found attractive. Recognition occurs in dimensions much deeper than outward appearance. True soulmate identification happens through the gaze. Not the gaze that assesses physical beauty, but the gaze that recognizes essence. It's that magical moment when you look into someone's eyes and feel like you're seeing straight into their soul. There's a depth to this eye contact that transcends time and space, as if you've known each other forever. Many people describe this experience as seeing the entire universe in someone's eyes. Silence shared with a soulmate has a special quality that other relationships don't. You can spend hours together without speaking a word and feel completely connected and understood. There's no desperate need to fill every silence with conversation because communication happens on energetic and telepathic levels. These moments of sacred silence are more intimate and revealing than many deep conversations you may have had with others. When you meet your soulmate, there's an instant recognition of essence that goes far beyond the initial physical attraction. It's as if two ancient souls remember who they've always been, promises made in other dimensions, a connection that existed before physical bodies formed. This identification doesn't need to be explained in words because it happens at a level of consciousness that transcends the rational mind. You simply know with every cell of your being. Many people experience meeting someone who is physically perfect by their standards, but who doesn't spark any real spiritual connection. Conversely, they may meet someone they initially didn't find physically attractive, but who gradually becomes the most beautiful person in the world in their eyes. This happens because true beauty emanates from the inside out. When you connect with someone's soul, it literally illuminates their physical appearance. Society has conditioned us to look for love in the wrong places, focusing on external attributes that are temporary and changeable. Skin ages, bodies change, appearances transform, but the soul remains eternal and unchanged. When you base a connection solely on physical attraction, you're building on shifting sand. But when you recognize your soulmate by their essence, you're building on solid rock that will withstand any storm life may bring. It's this fundamental difference that separates superficial relationships from sacred connections destined for eternity. The universe never works by chance, especially when it comes to the sacred encounter between soulmates. Long before the physical encounter occurs, subtle spiritual signs begin to emerge, preparing your consciousness to recognize and welcome this special person. Many people report unexplainable premonitions, a growing sense that something momentous is about to happen in their love lives. It's as if the universe is gently whispering to your heart that the sacred moment is approaching. Dreams are one of the most common ways your soulmate begins communicating with you before the physical encounter. You might dream of a person whose face you can't clearly remember upon waking, but the feeling of love and connection remains vivid in your heart. Some dream of romantic situations in places they've never visited, or have recurring dreams about weddings or eternal commitments. These aren't just random dreams. They're telepathic communications between souls preparing to reunite. Synchronicities multiply exponentially when your soulmate is about to appear. You'll begin to notice repetitive numbers like 1111, 2222, or other sequences that inexplicably capture your attention. Songs about true love begin to play constantly around you. Quotes about soulmates appear in books you open randomly, or conversations from strangers about perfect relationships reach your ears at just the right moment. The universe is literally bombarding you with confirmations that love is coming. The "I know you already" feeling upon first meeting is perhaps the most powerful and unmistakable sign of a soulmate. Unlike the superficial familiarity we sometimes feel with certain people, this is a recognition that shakes your entire soul. It's as if you've just remembered something incredibly important that you'd forgotten. Some people describe it as coming home after a long trip, or as finding a part of themselves that was lost. Paying attention to these spiritual signs doesn't mean becoming obsessed with them, but rather developing a greater sensitivity to the subtle movements of the universe in your life. Many people are so skeptical or so busy with material life that they completely miss these divine communications. Cultivating moments of silence, meditation, and spiritual connection exponentially increases your ability to perceive and interpret these signs when they appear. The most important thing is to understand that these signs are not coincidences. They are evidence that you are aligned with your romantic destiny and that the universal forces are conspiring in your favor. When you recognize and honor these signs, you are demonstrating to the universe that you are ready and receptive to receiving the sacred gift of your soulmate. This accelerates the entire process and ensures that you won't miss the opportunity when they finally physically present themselves in your life. The connection between soulmates completely transcends the pursuit of personal happiness or individual romantic fulfillment. When two truly kindred souls meet, they discover they came together to fulfill a greater spiritual mission that benefits not only themselves, but all of humanity. This mission could be raising children who will bring light to the world, developing projects that heal and uplift others, or simply being a living example of how true love can transform everything around them. Each soulmate carries a piece of the cosmic puzzle of their shared mission. Separately, they are powerful and complete in themselves, but when they unite, they create a spiritual synergy that exponentially multiplies their capacity to serve and positively impact the world. It's as if two individual lights come together to create not just more brilliance, but an entirely new and transformative quality of light. This is the clearest mark of a true soulmate connection. A soulmate relationship never stagnates in selfishness or the pursuit of self-sufficiency. Naturally, without conscious forcing or planning, you find each other inspired to contribute in some meaningful way to the greater good. You may be moved to help others find love, heal collective trauma, create art that raises consciousness, or develop humanitarian work that alleviates suffering in the world. This natural expansion from I to we, and then to all of us, is an organic evolution that occurs when two mature souls unite with divine purpose. You realize that your love is not just to be kept and enjoyed privately, but to be radiated and shared as a beacon of hope for others, still seeking this same sacred connection. The relationship becomes a channel of blessings to the world. Often, the difficulties and challenges soulmates face are precisely the experiences needed to prepare them for their greater mission. The obstacles they overcome together develop the wisdom, compassion, and spiritual strength they will need to help others. Each crisis overcome, each forgiveness achieved, each moment of joint growth prepares them to be more effective instruments of healing and transformation in the world. When you understand that your soulmate is not just your personal prize, but your partner on a cosmic mission of service, it completely elevates the quality of your search and preparation. You stop looking for someone who will make you happy and start preparing to be someone worthy of participating in a sacred mission. This shift in perspective attracts your soulmate much more quickly, as they are also preparing to serve and seeking a spiritual partner worthy of this divine responsibility. One of the biggest pitfalls in the search for a soulmate is the desperate attempt to accelerate a process that obeys perfect divine timing, not impatient human schedules. The universe operates with mathematical precision that considers thousands of variables that our limited minds cannot comprehend. Every experience you must live, every lesson you must learn, every healing that must occur follows a divine sequence that prepares you to receive and nurture sacred love when it finally arrives. Forcing the timing of love is like trying to make a flower bloom by pulling on its petals. You destroy the natural process and prevent beauty from organically manifesting. Many people, overcome by anxiety and impatience, end up accepting inappropriate relationships just to avoid being behind others or to meet arbitrary social deadlines. This artificial haste not only blocks the natural flow of destiny, but can cause you to completely miss your soulmate by being too busy with the wrong person. Anxiety about love acts as an energetic interference that scrambles the universe's signals and confuses your own intuition. When you're anxious, your vibrational frequency becomes agitated and unstable, making it impossible to fine-tune the necessary tuning to recognize and attract your soulmate. It's like trying to tune into a radio station with shaking hands. You might skip right past the right station without being able to pick it up clearly. Spiritual patience isn't passive resignation or disguised giving up. It's an active, unshakable trust that the universe is working tirelessly on your behalf, aligning people, situations, and circumstances to create the perfect encounter at the perfect time. This patience is accompanied by a sense of deep peace, knowing that you don't need to race against time because you are exactly where you're supposed to be on your spiritual journey. Often, apparent delays are actually divine protections. Perhaps you weren't emotionally ready to welcome your soulmate 2 years ago, or they still needed to go through certain experiences to be ready for you. The universe may have prevented premature encounters that would have resulted in pain or confusion. Every no from the universe is a yes in disguise, redirecting you towards something infinitely better than you could have imagined. True patience is a supreme testament to spiritual faith. It demonstrates your complete trust in universal wisdom, even when you can't see the full picture. This surrender to divine timing not only mysteriously accelerates the process, but also ensures that when your soulmate appears, you will be perfectly aligned and ready to build something extraordinary together. Waiting becomes sacred preparation, and each day of patience is an investment in the eternity of love to come. The deepest and most transformative secret to attracting your soulmate is to become an inexhaustible source of love before they even appear in your life. This means developing the ability to love unconditionally, not just specific people who deserve your love, but loving as a state of being, as your natural frequency of existence. When you learn to love without expecting anything in return, without conditions or bargaining, you become an irresistible magnet for true love. This unconditional love necessarily begins with yourself, not the self-centered love that ignores flaws and refuses to grow, but the mature love that fully accepts your imperfect humanity while committing to your continued evolution. When you genuinely love yourself this way, you stop seeking external validation and become a source of love rather than a needy receiver. This fundamental transformation is felt energetically by everyone around you. The next circle of unconditional love extends to your family, friends, and everyone you encounter daily. You begin to see every human encounter as an opportunity to offer love, understanding, or compassion, even in challenging situations. This constant exercise of loving strengthens your spiritual muscles and raises your vibration to levels only sacred connections can reach. Practicing unconditional love doesn't mean being naive or allowing others to take advantage of you. It means having an open heart protected by discerning wisdom that knows when to give, when to withdraw, and when to set healthy boundaries. It's an intelligent love that nourishes without depleting, that gives without emptying, that serves without sacrificing. This emotional and spiritual maturity is exactly what your soulmate is looking for. Magic happens when you reach this state of pure love. You completely stop searching for your soulmate because you have already become love incarnate. In this state, there is no more anxiety, rush, or desperation, just a constant radiance of love that acts like a cosmic beacon. Your soulmate, who has also developed this same capacity for unconditional love, is naturally drawn to your light like a moth to a flame. The more you embrace pure, unconditional love, the more inevitable your encounter with your soulmate becomes. It's not a question of if it will happen, but when, and that when comes much sooner than you imagine. The universe cannot resist uniting two people who have become authentic sources of divine love. It's an infallible spiritual law. True love always finds true love because they are made of the same sacred essence. Now that you've discovered the deepest secret revealed by spiritual teachings, you're ready to transform your search into a sacred journey of self-discovery and elevation. Your soulmate isn't just someone you'll meet out there. It's someone you're already becoming through every conscious choice of love, growth, and service you make daily. The external encounter is simply a reflection of the inner union you've already achieved. When you become unconditional love, your soulmate has no choice but to appear, for you are magnetized by the same divine essence. If this content touched your heart deeply and awakened a new understanding of true love, share this wisdom with others who are also seeking their spiritual truth. Share your experience in the comments. Do you feel like you're already on the path to becoming this source of unconditional love? What spiritual signs have you noticed on your journey? Subscribe to the channel to continue receiving teachings that can completely transform your love and spiritual life.